welcome to another episode of the Chicks on the Right podcast, where we talk to our BFF and sponsor of the show, Zach Abraham from Bulwark Capital Management. Zach, I'm sure you saw that earlier in the week, Trump got to ring the bell at the New York Stock Exchange. It was a big deal. Everybody's kind of saying, we're back. Business is back. Everything's coming back. And he's making big fat promises about how he is going to slash the corporate tax rate to 15% if you're a company that makes your stuff in America. It's going to be 21 for everybody else. So do you think that this is realistic? Do you think he can get this done? What do you make of his whole New York Stock Exchange visit?
And also, does that mean us?
Yeah,
because we make our stuff in America, right?
Yeah, that means America, baby. You dang right it is. Yeah,
so that's us.
Well, and at least one of you is in Texas. So I mean, that's like America squared, right? You get extra credit for that.
It should be 7%. It should be 7%.
Whereas for me, living in the state of Washington, I should get credit, but it should be like 0.7% of the tax.
Right.
I shouldn't get all of it, right? Because I'm up here in this disaster of a idiocy that I'm swimming in on a daily basis.
Exactly.
Boy, and if you guys want some good fodder to discuss, you should dig into Washington state politics.
It's pretty bad.
It is all of the. So let's put it this way. I mean, I can send you, and I ought to send it to you guys to show you. There's a big high school up here, and there's several that have done this. Big high school. One of my best friends in the world. He was in my wedding. His son just started this high school this year, and they actually moved him to a private high school because of this. But the high school, big one. It's one of our biggest, and it said, "We're pleased to announce the construction and opening of our gender-neutral bathrooms." Which will include litter boxes.
Oh my God.
Stop.
I'm not kidding you. And people don't believe me. And that's why I saved the image, like from the announcement from the schools. So, cause it's like on their official, the school stuff.
And they're pleased about it. They're pleased.
No. They were bragging.
Oh my God.
You guys saw the movie, The Big Short, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you remember that? You haven't seen it, Daisy?
I haven't seen it. I guess I need to see that. That's going to be on my Christmas break list. It's on my to-do list. I have many to-do things on that list.
Homework. It's homework.
Yes.
Anyway, there's a scene in there where they're talking to these mortgage lenders, right? And these guys are just confessing to like doctoring these loans. And Steve Carell's character, he's a hedge fund manager. What's funny is two of the guys in that movie that were two of the analysts that were in this scene, I've actually interviewed on our radio show, the real life guys. But so Steve Carell, he pulls them aside and he goes, "Why are they confessing?" And the guy goes, "They're not confessing, they're bragging," right? And that's why I said they're not confessing to you. They're putting a litter box in. They're waving that flag, baby. Right?
Yeah.
Because they've won. They've won the game of like idiocy, right?
Well, and here's the thought. I'm like, okay, because they identify as a cat, right? They're like, yeah. And I go, then why aren't they outside climbing trees and chasing mice? Right. Why are they cool? Like, what kind of BS game are we playing here? Yeah. Right? If we're going to go full cat, let's go full cat.
They should. Exactly.
They identify as a cat. Why are we making them read?
Mm-hmm. They should at least be killing things in my garage.
Well, they better not be eating the good food in the cafeteria. They need to be eating the kibble.
The
and that's
good food in the cafeteria.
Right. The school pizza, for example. I've always loved school pizza.
Or if you're the teacher, they don't do good on their homework assignments. So you walk behind them while they're sitting at their desk and you grab them by the back of the shirt and you rub their nose on their assignment. And you're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, they identify as a cat. Yeah, right? Like, right. This is how I house trained my dog. I just figured this would work. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, well, I didn't mean to derail this by talking about Washington policy.
about people wanting to be cats.
But as you can see, there's a lot to discuss.
Yeah, but 15% is huge. Like Mock and I, we own a small business. It's obscene what we've been taxed over the past 15 years. Well, we didn't start making money until like 5 years in, probably. Yep. So for 5 years, we didn't make any money, and then like that 5th year, the government's like, "We'll go ahead and take all of that. Thank you."
Yes.
We need to have a lot of this.
We were like, "Wait, what?" And so, as small business owners, we are delighted if, in fact, that corporate tax rate will go down. I'm like, you have no idea how awesome that is. Is it true? Like, could this happen?
Yeah. No, it could happen, but man, do I have an idea about how thrilled you are about it. I mean, And I don't think you guys build a business, and so have I. And what I don't think people understand is that when you've built a business from scratch, you're passionate about it, right? And
Yeah.
those tax savings I get, they get put right back in the business,
Well,
right?
yeah, and imagine the money that you put into the business and what we put into the business the first 4 years. Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't recoup that. Yeah.
No, no. Well, I mean, hopefully you do like later, right? But
Right,
yeah,
right. But you know what
but
I mean. Yeah.
yeah. And here's the one thing, boy. Well, and I do have their ear because I would be shocked if the powers that be and the guys that are running Doge are not listening to the chicks on a daily basis to get their intelligence.
We hope they are.
But what I would say to them is, I go, please, please, please extend those tax benefits beyond just C corp registered corporations.
Yes.
Okay, because that's a wonderful thing, but there are tons of small corporations that are building things in America, that are making things in America that aren't C corps. So
Yes.
pass that down to S corps and LLCs filing as S
Please.
corps. And if you want to do like just do that. And I think it's a wonderful idea. And it's kind of shocking, you guys, because I feel like you guys are like this. I also just saw a wonderful interview Glenn Beck did with Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks.
Oh, we saw a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the things that really encouraged me about it is the craziness of what has gone on. I think has brought together people that otherwise would not be, right? And there's an opportunity here to make really big changes, really big moves. And the way I can tell is that one of the now I'm not saying I think it's such a great idea because they agreed with me. What I'm saying is there are basic, simple solves to a lot of these problems that if you're not being weighed down by bureaucracy, or you're not being weighed down by this person not donating to your political campaign, there are easy fixes to some of these problems, right? Like the manufacturing and Rust Belt issue in this country. I've long said, give them a tax holiday on those types of corporations in this country. Right? Just give it to them. Help offset the increased cost of labor and the increased cost of living in the United States so they can be competitive. Because guess what? Even though the business isn't paying taxes, the employees are, right?
Yeah.
They're paying income taxes. You're generating sales tax. You're generating excise tax. It's so much better to do that than to just ship the jobs overseas where you get absolutely zero benefit from it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's making it's the whole thing, like especially what happened with the New York Stock Exchange, the fact that everybody's talking about America coming back, businesses booming back.
Yep.
It's so pissing off lefties. And so we already heard it even before the election about how Obama would take credit for Trump's economy last time. They are doing it again. I saw that non-Eagles Joe Walsh, the one that used to be the congressman.
I love that.
The
non-Eagles
The
Joe
less
Walsh.
impressive Joe Walsh.
Right.
Yeah.
And he tried to say because the news has been all week about that the business is booming back, and he's trying to say that no, America is going to inherit Biden's great economy. So he's already saying any success that Donald Trump has for the next 4 years, it's all because Biden has positioned us to be in this great economy that the rest of the world is jealous of.
Yeah.
I want to punch people.
Well,
I cannot.
Best economy that 38 trillion in debt can buy you. So I mean, it better look pretty good. But here's the thing, though. I really don't think it matters as much anymore because how much weight does Obama's voice carry? Not as much. Not as much as it used to.
Zero.
Right? And I think people are waking up to this. I think people are waking up to the same enemies. We actually have the same enemies on both sides of the aisle.
You are so correct, Zach.
Right?
Yep. Yes.
It's part of that same intertwined, disgusting, unholy union between big business and government. And that is the enemy. It's built both sides. It's tricked both sides. And I feel like people are waking up to that and saying, wait a second here. You've said one thing, you've done another. We're not falling for this nonsense anymore. And to go to what you were saying about the economy, hilarious. One of the guys that I read regularly just for a good laugh is Rick Newman on Yahoo Finance. You ever heard of him? Anyway, he's Mr. Finance, but like if there was a head of finance for a publication that was a member of the DNC, it would be how they would write it, right? Because everything's got a political bent. So he was talking about we got really surprising automobile sales right after the election. We also got a big jump in JOLTS, job openings, right after the election. You know how he spun that? He spun it. He goes, well, people are rushing to buy cars to avoid the increased costs that they suspect are coming with tariffs. And I'm like sitting back going, buddy, you could put 20% tariffs and cars aren't going to be as expensive as they were under Biden.
Oh,
exactly.
Like, and I go, and I also said, show me one time in history that consumers went out in mass to buy a durable consumer good that they had to finance in preparation of bad economic times.
Right.
I mean,
Bingo.
a bunch of bull crap.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And then especially when it dovetails with the job openings, because if you're looking at a business and you're trying to measure like business optimism, there is no better metric than job openings,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So no, it's really cool what's going on here. I think that all of these things can be accomplished. I think that there is so much, I don't think, as you guys know, there's so much waste in so much of these regulatory bodies. So, and you're going to win on both sides because this is how you do it, right? If you're going to cut government spending, especially when it's played this integral role in the growth of the economy, the only way to really offset that is to do what is currently being done in Argentina, who, they're cutting costs massively, but they're slashing regulation. And so and what did they just announce? They just announced that for the first time in decades, they don't have a deficit, right? So, I don't think we've got as much low-hanging fruit as Argentina does because they've been incredibly mismanaged, but there is an unbelievable amount of efficiency just through regulatory cuts that we can get, and those tax cuts that could be a boom in U.S.-based manufacturing.
Yeah. I think we'll be surprised at how mismanaged we actually have been.
Yeah. Oh, there's no question. But then the other thing is the investment opportunities it opens up, right? If we're going to start building back a manufacturing sector, this is what gets me so excited, right? So many of the companies and the assets that are going to be so huge over the next 5 to 10 years based on these changing economic tides, those are the things that are the cheapest in this market right now because everybody believes there's nothing that exists outside of technology.
Right.
We're looking at some of these companies that are trading at like 1/10 the value of the assets they've got on their balance sheet, and you're just like, oh baby, here we
let's do this. Yeah.
Let's go. Yes.
Well, and this is why we're constantly telling people that even if they have a financial plan that they feel good about, it never hurts to get a second opinion, especially from you. And so tell people how they can find you and get a free risk review.
Yeah, they can go to bulwarkcapitalmanagement.com or just Google knowyourriskradio.com. And I think one of the biggest perks is we don't work for Vanguard or a Wall Street bank or BlackRock. So there is that part of it too, right?
Great perk.
Yes, we're easy to find. Know Your Risk Radio podcast and shouldn't be too tough.
Awesome.
Right.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you, ladies. Merry Christmas, and it's fun talking to you.
You too. Merry Christmas.
Investment advisory services offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security. Any references to performance of securities are thought to be materially accurate, and actual performance may differ. Investments involve risk and are not guaranteed. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Trek 24308.